better blues guitar solos instantly. I will be going over some of the theory, but that does not mean that you absolutely have to know it. This is stuff that you can start putting right under your fingers now to make your blues solos that much more interesting and that much better. My name is Ryan. I have helped hundreds of guitar players in the last 21 years now break past that really sort of stale pentatonic intermediate plateau and really bridge the gap between their creative ideas and what they're able to play. If you would, hit that subscribe and bell notification to receive more videos about how to make your guitar playing better. Really quickly, do stay till the end. There's a lot in this lesson, but I want to give you some licks and some tactics to use this. Like I said, you don't have to understand the theory. I want to put it under your fingers now so you can make your solos better now. At the end, I'm going to show you some really cool licks and tactics and ways to use this lesson and start integrating it and some other secrets as well to really bring your blues solos to life if you feel like your solos have been falling stale. Let's jump into this blues guitar lesson. I did this as a short and I want to do it as a full lesson now. I don't have my whole lighting thing. I have this sort of throwaway guitar. I'm still wearing a shirt that's covered in paint. So I just did it. The short just went really well. I want to do a full video of it, okay? So we're going to go through each one of the chords in your 1, 4, 5. I'm just going to stay in A, right? So my A7, my D7, and my E7, or my 1, my 4, and my 5, 7, and how we can add to each one of those chords to bring out the changes of a 12 bar and also make our solos really interesting. The first one is going to be the major third against my minor pentatonic or minor blues, right? And that's because my A7 has a C sharp or a major third in it, and the minor blues has a C or a flat 3 in it. So we can really play with that major minor sound, which is what gives the blues that really cool sound that it has. One of my favorite ways is when I get to that, the flat 3 is going to be the 5th fret here of the G string. Just move it up, right, from my flat 3 to my natural 3. Now, that 3 and that flat 7 is what creates that tritone, right? And that gives the most abrasive sound of a dominant 7. So I sometimes will bring it there to the flat 7 and create that tritone, right, rather than the resolve. Or another little trick, and then resolve up here. I'll do it with my thumb for the root. That'll give you the whole 7 chord without the 5, which is unnecessary anyway. So that is the first addition. Okay, I'm going to come back to the 1 chord for something else specifically, and I'm going to show you a really, really cool lick there at the end. The 4 chord, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add the major third of that 4 chord, which is my natural 6, the 7th fret of my B string. Okay, this breaks out of the minor pentatonic, gives it a little bit of a Dorian sound, which is nice, and just like we were doing before, you can slide into it. Now, what is really cool is the flat 3 of my minor pentatonic in A is the flat 7 of my 4 chord. So that major third of the 4 chord, or the 6, and the flat 7 of the 4 chord, or the minor third, the flat 3, creates that tritone as well. So I'll add that in, right, to give that sound. I will also add the 2, the 7 of the bottom string, the bottom E, right, a little bit as well, just because that note, that's the 13 of my 4 chord, and that's just up for grabs as well. I'm going to come back to that. And then my 5 chord. Okay, I do really like to add that note in, right, my natural 2 in A. I like to add that in. That's the 5 of the 5 chord. Sorry guys, there was a mower and it seems like it's a little further away now. Sorry for that sound. But that 9, or the 2 of my A blues, is the 5 of my 5 chord. So it's a really cool sound, and if I hit it, it just sounds like that 5 chord, right? Like that 5 chord's really coming. So that is the note that I really like to choose for the 5 chord. If I decide to do what I've done before, is sort of slide into that major third, right? That now becomes the natural 7 of my A, G sharp. Okay, the third of that 5 chord is that natural 7. That is going to really break out of the key. So use it sparingly unless you love the sound. You know, I just choose to use it sparingly. It really breaks out of the blues sound, I think. Right, so that's why I sort of go for that that 2 note for that specific 5 chord. What you can do, a really cool thing if you want to be playing in a blues jam session and throw this in and sort of wow some of the people that you're playing with, is you could touch on a dominant flat 13. So you could touch on, when you get to this 5 chord, 5 with a, that's the 5. That would be the flat 6, or since it's dominant, it would be the flat 13 note of my 5 chord. What that does is it still anchors us into, because that is the flat 3 of the A, it still anchors us into the blues sound. So now what you have is this: 5, 6, 7, natural 7, 1, 2, flat 3, 4. Right? And what that is just of the dominant of my A melodic minor. So when you get to that 5 chord, if you play, right, might sound really cool. And I'm just mixing up the notes of that on my B string, 5, 7, 9, 10, and then on the high E, 7, 8, 10. Right, and I stay away from that A unless I'm using it as a passing tone, just because it isn't in that 5 chord and it's the resolve note. Try it. Okay, try it and see if you like it. Make sure that you can start doing whatever these are. If I go to my 4 chord, right, make sure that you can take some of these ideas right into the other octave, so you're not just doing it up here. Right, we want to make sure. So if I have that natural 6 to 1, 2 to 1, right? Can I do natural 6 to 1, right there, and then 2 to 1? You know where. Right, make sure that you're able to take these around. If you're still stuck in just that one position, make sure that you're able to play it in those 2 octaves. That's really going to help, whatever the lick is. So those are the main ways that I like to play over the changes. Another really cool thing to do when you get to that 5, just because, like we were saying, that right is very it's a melodic minor sound, right? It even has like a little bit of an Eastern sound, not as much as harmonic minor does, but it does, right? If I, right, still has a little bit of that sound. If that is too much and you want to stick a little bit more to blues, one of the tricks that I love that Stevie Ray Vaughan uses, he does not just do it over the 5 chord, which is very adventurous. I only use this over the 5 chord. But if I play here, the 5th fret of my B string, right, is the 5 of the scale, and I do just up the pentatonic, 5, 8, and then I get to that high E string and I do 5, 6, 7. What that gives me is a blues scale, 1, flat 3, 4, sharp 4, my blues note, and my 5 of the 5. So if I'm playing, you know, and it's time for the 5 chord, right, I might throw that in. That is just going to give you a blues scale over the 5 chord without breaking position. Something to throw in that I think is really cool. If you start using these ideas and you want to bridge, another really cool thing is to bridge over the bar line. I love this lick, okay? It is, if I go up, I'm going to play it up here. We can play it in, like I said, moving this around octaves is really good, but we're going to start on the major third of A. So if you can find that, right, my 5, 8, 5, 8, that's my flat 3. I'm just going to move it up to 9. What I'm going to do is, so that's major third, 4th, sharp 4th, and then 5th, straight up 9, 10, 11, 12 on my E string. And then I'm going to slide back into the 9, flat 3 to my major 3rd, and then resolve it. I love that lick. Just make sure that you can do it in a couple of other places. It's great for the 1 chord. I like it when we switch to the 4 chord and we're coming back to the 1, right? Just to give it a little bit of a blues sound. I can go down if I want to. And this just bridges our sort of Mixolydian blues sound like all together. One way to do this lick that I really like is going from the 1 chord to the 4 chord. And it looks like this. Bear with me. Now over my 1, that's 3, 4, sharp, 4, 5, slide into the major 3rd of the 1 chord and then resolve it. And then I'm going to go back to the major 3rd. Bring it down to the 2 of my A. And now I'm going to set this up. All right, so now, bottom string, E string. 9, 10, 11, 12, slide into 9, resolve to the 10th fret. Go from 9 to 7. And now on the B string, 10, 9, 8, slide into 7, 8 on the bottom string. What we're doing is, we're doing the 1 chord, and now we're doing the lick backwards for the 4 chord. So that's my, according to my 4, it's almost the same lick. It's the reverse of the lick. My 4 chord is 5, sharp 4, 4, slide into the major 3rd, and then a flat 7 for that 4 chord. If you can throw that in, you get to the tail end of the 1 going into the 4. That is going to sound really, really cool, right? And then it's just showing you also where that is for your 4 chord, right? Right, wherever you decide to play it. Another really cool way to go over a bar line from change to change is gonna sound really cool. Some of the other ideas that I was showing you is because we have A already. I have, like, if I take that, right, that's a flat 7, 9, and 5, slide up to a 1 major 3rd and 13, or the 6, and back down again. So the 9 and the 13 or the 6 is already there for my 1 chord, and for any of the chords of a 12-bar blues, which means that if I'm playing those notes, the 7 on the B and the 7 on the E, or the 6 or 13 and 2 or 9, are still going to be available. Right, and then we get a little bit more of a major blues, a B.B. King kind of sound, you know? So those notes are optional. If you really want to target those notes to play over the chord changes like this, right? Like that 7 on the B string, right? Your natural 6. If you want to use that, like we were talking about before, just for that 4 chord, then try to avoid it until the 4 chord comes, right? If not, the notes are still there and available. So these are all some of the ideas that I really wanted to get into. You know, another thing that you'll see come up is this, right? If I go to the 4 chord, what this now becomes is straight 5s on the bottom 3 strings, up to the 7s, and then back down again. Okay, that's the same thing. Now, this will happen a lot just in blues in general. So if I'm on my 1 chord, right, I can still get that sound. That's my flat 3 and my 5, and I can even give it like a little bend. And then my 4 and my 6, so my 7th fret of both the B and the G string, or slide into that major 3rd, right to the 1. So you will see that if I raise that up. 2 5s on the G and the B, 2 7s on the G and the B, 2 8s on the G and the B. Now that's my flat 7 and my blues note, my sharp 4. Right, so just a couple of more ways to integrate some of this stuff and use it in your playing. I hope that this lesson wasn't too much theory and that you were able to use it. Please, again, if you want to hit the like and subscribe button, that would be awesome. And if you are an intermediate guitar player looking to get out of that pentatonic plateau, bridge the gap between your creative ideas and what you are able to play, you can comment pro below and we can get started. What's up, everybody? I did a video that adds to the minor pentatonic to really bring your blues guitar solos to life. I kept that very sort of informational, so I didn't play through an entire 12 bar. So this is just a video of me going through 2 12 bars and adding those licks in, you know, those notes that break out of the minor pentatonic and such. So if you see this video as a standalone, that's what it's for. The lesson is in the description or pinned to the first comment if you're on YouTube. And for everyone who saw the lesson, here is me playing through some of those examples. Now that 5 chord, so we get natural 7 and the 2. We do the same idea here. Now the 5, I'm going to do that lick that's down here.